Hey everyone, I wanted to go through this pretty large design issue that I've gotten a lot of feedback on already, but I'm looking to just get feedback on some specific areas before I put this into solution validation. So to give you some background context around what this is, runners today in the admin area, they can be edited and they include a bunch of different details that can be like configured depending on how you want the runner to run. The ways that we show that today across groups, across projects, and across the admin area, which would be for the whole instance, is not consistent. So we're trying to improve the consistency and the usability there so that we can use sort of like the same paradigms for each area, no matter where you are, because usually you'll be jumping between like project and group and admin area if you were somebody who has access to all of those areas. So I'll jump into this. The first thing that I'd like to point out is that today, when you come to this table in the admin area, if you select the runner ID or this pencil button, you get the same edit view. So the main things that I've differentiated here is a read-only view versus an edit view. And the read-only view would be selected if you come from here, and then the edit view would be showing up only if you come from the edit pencil. The reason why I did that is because we can reuse the read-only view in areas where it's a developer that does not have access to edit the runner, so we could just reuse that. So if you did just come to the read-only view, one specific thing that I was looking for feedback around is where I can put this pause button. I think this was kind of like a late addition because I realized that we have it on this table and often users will interact with the play and pause buttons and at this point. So I want to make sure it's still relevant and in context when you come to the read-only version of this. So one thing that would be great to have feedback on. I separated the details and jobs here. So jobs has its own tab because there can be a considerable amount of jobs. So that's what that was. So if you did select the pencil button from here, you could come to the edit view of this. So what's a little strange is I made the edit view more of like a form. So anything that you change here, then the save changes button would become primary, and then you can select save changes. But I did not want to include the pause button as I was showing in the beginning here because it wouldn't be like an immediate thing that you could get feedback on, because this form is something that you would make changes on and then select save changes and it would save it that way. So what I did instead is we have the same checkbox for active is what we call it. And that will determine whether or not you want the runner to be paused. So if you have it selected, then that means that that would be the same as having it say play on the runner table. And then if you have it unselected, it would be as if it was paused. The other thing that I was looking to get feedback on is when you have a specific runner, they have to have an assigned project, at least one. You can have tons of projects in your organization, and theoretically, it could be a lot to scroll through. So today we show that through a table and we include enable buttons in there. It just really does not go along with many of our pajamas patterns. So I wanted to use a similar functionality that we're doing for assignees here. So like for assignees for issues, if you select an assignee, it jumps ahead of the divider and puts it under this assignees section. I wanted to use a very similar way of doing that here. So all the assigned projects would live above this divider. And then once you select another project to add, it will jump up. And if you deselect a project up top, it will go back down. The reason why I did this is because usually people will come in here and know exactly what project they want to assign so that they will use the search bar rather than having to like search through a table, which I think just takes up unnecessary amount of space. And then the last thing I was looking for feedback around was this type dropdown. So shared runners has this kind of strange feature, which allows you to make it into a specific runner. And it only goes in this certain way that you start with a shared runner and then you can make it specific. We're looking actually to deprecate that feature in however many releases, but we are still collecting feedback from users to see if that is okay to do. But I need to keep this feature in here for the time being. So this would allow you to switch the type to specific. And then I've added this danger alert, just saying that when you change this, you cannot change it back to shared. Like it will be specific runner forever. You would have to create a new shared runner to be able to get it to be shared. And then I did include this error alert, I guess, or error feedback for the projects dropdown, because you need at least one project assigned. So it would stay like that until you add a project. So you would add one and then you would be able to save changes. And then at the very end, it would switch it back into a specific runner here. And then you can see the assigned projects. So that was a lot to go through. I'm going to write the same thing and make sure it's pretty clear on the issue for the feedback that I'm looking for. And if you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. Thank you.